I know it's been a while, but do you remember your first trip to Manhattan as coach here?
Was that when they threw the live chicken down on the floor? I can't remember if that was the first or second time that we played there, but, the first game, no, I don't remember. I don't remember. I think Jim was coaching, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember the first one.
And I think you guys have won, I think, 3 in a row there. Obviously, different teams, but what stands out about this team when you look at them as you get ready for tomorrow night?
As far as K-State's team?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're a lot more talented. I think that offensive firepower is doubled. You know, they lost Pack obviously, but they've replaced him with some guys that can really score the ball. And Wells having a Player of the Year type year. Johnson is if you see the second leading scorer in our league right now, or third, or whatever, he's having an unbelievable year, and it's a great story. And then they've also recruited unbelievably well. I don't want to bash anybody's name, so I won't say, but they're starting 3-man, number 35. I mean, he's a pro prospect. I mean, he's an NBA prospect. I'm really impressed with their talent level and what the staff was able to do in a short amount of time.
Bill, Jalen's mentioned a couple times that the Missouri game could prepare this team well for a game like this. Do you think that's fair? Is that how you would see it?
I think there's some similarities from an environment standpoint for sure. They were ready. Missouri was ready for us when we went there, and K-State will obviously be ready for us when we go there. So yeah, I think from an environment standpoint, definitely. I really think that K-State, you lose at TCU, which, a lot of people are going to lose at TCU. But up until this point, they have been the most impressive team from a beating and playing well at the hardest places. The win against Texas was incredible, and of course the win at Baylor was incredible. Nobody's had 2 better wins than that in our league. So yeah, they're capable of definitely playing at a high level against anybody in the country, and they've already shown they can do it. And they'll be playing with a lot of momentum in the stands tomorrow. So it should be a really fun atmosphere, really fun.
You've seen it both ways, where they're pretty good and where they're struggling. Is it more fun when they're good?
Is it more fun
to play in this game when they're good, when they're this good?
I think it's fun. I think it's good for our league when everybody plays well. I don't think it's good for us at all when they play well against us. Yeah, I'm not at all disappointed or anything that Iowa State and K-State have been the surprises in our league thus far. I think that it's great. They're good stories. I think that's what makes our league great, is that there's absolutely nobody in the bottom. And to be honest with you, you can't say our league is top heavy anymore. When 5 teams are ranked in the top 14, that means it's just a heavy league. It's not just top heavy, because if I'm not mistaken, Baylor is 21, so that makes 6 in the top, 6 out of 10. And so it's not a top heavy league. Everybody's good. So, but there's certainly no bottom feeders in our league. And so I think having everybody be good like this is good for us indirectly, because from a respect standpoint and how people evaluate our league and value our league, I think it's good for everybody. But certainly we don't want them to play well at our expense, no question.
Yeah, how about from a preparation standpoint? Do you get your guys' attention more when they're ranked and stuff, or is
it's a rivalry game regardless if we're both ranked or not? But certainly I think it adds a lot more to it when both teams are good, and certainly both teams are good. From a preparation standpoint, I mean, you guys, and you have to do so. You got to approach it like in your reporting. Basically, a lot of the reports happen the day of the game, and here we are. We haven't even practiced yet.
Right.
I mean, so we played Saturday. We didn't practice yesterday. We're exhausted, and that event all weekend. That's a lot of standing for our guys and everything. So we told them to get away from basketball yesterday. So we haven't even talked about how we're going to defend this or that yet. So for a preparation standpoint, it needs to be a crash course. And hopefully we're able to pick up on some stuff. But I actually thought bodies were more important than preparation. And I'd be surprised if Jerome didn't feel the same way. This league is such a grind. You know, the rules say you have to take 1 day off a week. I'm not sure this isn't a 2 day off a week league. You play on Saturday, you take Sunday off. You play on Tuesday, you take Wednesday off. If you play Saturday, Wednesday, you take Sunday and Thursday off. I think the league has become that, because I mean, I know you guys have, but I just studied it today for the first time that I've studied it. But you know, you play Iowa State, and then you go to K-State, then you got TCU, then you go to Kentucky, then you have Baylor, then you have K-State again,
And Iowa State.
and then you have Iowa State, and then you have Texas. That's our next 7 games. I mean, that's comical. Whoever, you know, that's, so I don't think that, I think the preparation will be as much studying in large part than it will be actually on the court in many ways, because this is a joke. And no matter how you feel one week, it could be the 180 the next week, either direction.
How well were you able to get to know Jerome all these years at Baylor? I mean, did that happen much, or?
Nah, I wouldn't say it happened a lot, but I signed a kid at Oral Roberts out of his high school. You know,
Wow.
he was a coach, a kid named Robert Johnson, that Jerome coached in high school, and we signed him at ORU. And then we went to Tulsa, so I never had a chance to coach him. But so I've known Jerome and of Jerome 1995, 96. So I've known him a long time.
And the last one from me, you mentioned Noel. What stands out about how he's played so far this year?
Well, their entire team plays with a freedom offensively that I mean you don't see very often. I mean they have freedom to go make plays and to shoot the ball. And Noel, you know, he gave us fits last year over there. He and Pat dominated the game the first half over there. And I love him as a player because, you know, he's scrappy and tough and quick and can get his own shot. But yeah, we got to limit Ian Johnson obviously from having big nights. But they're I shouldn't say supporting, but there are other starters and they're supporting cast off the bench. I mean, it's much improved, and they can all stretch it. You know, once you make one sub or whatever, you're going to have 5 guys out there that can always be a threat to make threes too.
Coach, on Jerome Tang, he's spent a long time at Baylor. When you look at them on tape and you watch them get ready, does it look like Baylor? Does it look like something new? How'd you characterize it?
I know they're doing some of the same things. It looks a little different to me, but that's not. It's also only been 3 months for him too. But I see actually more freedom offensively. You know, the one thing about Baylor, they've done a great job, especially in the last 4 or 5 or 6 years. When they had guards that can make plays on their own, they let their guards make plays on their own. And that's what he is obviously doing. You know, when they had Butler and Teague and Mitchell and, you know, obviously Flagler and, you know, you just go on and on. When they've had those dudes, they've always been given freedom offensively to go make plays. I feel like they even have more freedom in Manhattan right now to go make plays. But defensively, I think conceptually a lot of it's the same. But I don't know. You know, they'll throw different things at you. You know, no matter what, when you coach at a place and you're the assistant coach and you can take with you, you know, all the ideas. Very rarely do you take them all, and always you have your own ideas that maybe the coach didn't want to do when you were an assistant. That's the way it is, and I kind of see that with Jerome too. You know, they're, you know, playing 1-3-1. They're doing some different things, and then I can't remember Baylor doing those same type things.
What do you think of KJ, Big 12 Player of the Week?
You know, it's awesome. I'm happy for him. It's a really nice honor. Doesn't mean anything after today, but for him to, when we recruited him and watching him last year, and to think that, 2 months into a season that he could already be named Big 12 Player of the Week is something that I think is really, really cool. He did have a great week though, and he made plays when the game was on the line.
With school starting, how would you assess the last few weeks without school? How did the team do?
I think we did okay. I don't think we got near as much practice time in, it seems like this year, as we have in the past, in large part because of what I said earlier. It used to be that you play a bye game, December 30th, and then the league starts January 7th. And so you have basically 10 to 12 days right there where you can put in stuff. We didn't have that this year. So I don't think we've got near as much stuff in that I would hope we'd have in, just because of the lack of opportunity to spend a ton of time on the court.
Was last year's game in Manhattan one you'll never forget because of the personal?
Yeah, it was a great game, for us. It meant something to me personally, but it's not a game that I go back and I've watched, more than once. I watched it after we played them, and I don't think I've watched it since then. So it was a nice win, but maybe during the off season, maybe I should do that more. Just watch games that actually had some different meaning more often. But I usually don't. I like to remember it just the way it happened and be a memory.
Coach, I asked Jalen if he thinks the guys in the locker room understand kind of the magnitude of the rivalry and how much it means to the fan base. He said if they don't, you'll make sure that everybody does. What are those conversations like? And then how much does Grady kind of help out with that? Because it's his first year, but he grew up with the rivalry.
Yeah, I think, I'm sure they'll be excited to see Grady over there when he first walks out there for warm-ups. So that'll be good for him. But I've always thought this, when CB played in it, or Dean Wade played in it, or a player like that, I always thought it meant more to the kids that were local. I always did. So, we don't have a lot of those kids, but we got enough that it's going to mean extra. But they're good. What do they rank this week? 13?
13.
I mean, for 13, and they're very deserving of that or better. And we're ranked up there pretty high too. I mean, it actually adds to the excitement of the game, knowing that the anticipation of it, knowing you got two really good teams playing. And for us to win, we're going to have to really, really do a lot of things really, really well. But that's also a great challenge and fun to go into with that type of attitude.
Everything you were talking about with the tough schedule and kind of the back-to-backs, does that help at all for the NCAA tournament time once you get to prep?
You know what? I'll be real honest. I don't think so. I think it helps to have those games throughout the year. I'm not sure it helps to have them every game. You could go through and look at it. A lot of teams that go through the grinder, some of those teams haven't done as well in the tournament as some teams that maybe don't have to go through the grinder, and their legs and their minds are a little fresher at the end. I don't know if there's an exact formula for it and all that stuff, but I certainly will tell my guys and hope and believe that going through the grinders good for teams going into the NCAA tournament, and the fact that you can look at it this way. The reason why you want to win 3 games in the Big 12 tournament is because you're playing in the third. Let's just call it like it is. If sometimes if things don't work out great and you lose in the semis, sometimes you got your guys' attention going into the tournament, and maybe it's extra days rest or wear and tear and all that stuff. But when you're playing 3-3, if our league, one of the smartest things our league tournament ever did was moving to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because now you're looking at going through the grind, playing 3 days and three games in 3 days. and then having Monday have to be an off day when everybody else across America is prepping for the NCAA tournaments, then you turn around traveling on Tuesday. That's where the grind of it kind of gets in the way, and you think, well, they're on a hot roll, but yeah, they're a tired team, and so I don't know. I don't moving the tournament back to the ending on Saturday was one of the smartest things that our league has done in a long time.
Bill, your thoughts on Bobby, a guy that can score on occasion, but also made some tough plays on Saturday, kind of plays that you tend to like.
Yeah, I you know, he's got to be more aggressive looking to score, no question. But when I told him to foul, and he may have fouled, you know, there at the end, but if you just take that out of it, good gracious, how impressive was he sliding his feet and guarding that last possession. That was something that you show guys on tape and you say, why don't we get this all the time? And those are the things that he can bring to the table, as well as anybody on our team, better than one, you know, in certain situations. So we got to get more out of him making those type of plays that don't necessarily translate to statistics, but certainly are winning basketball plays.
Thanks, Coach.
All right,
Let's
guys.
go.